Hi, this is part 2 of the Pomni costume I made for my daughter. This will include the bodysuit and going over a little bit of the shoe covers. The bodysuit was created from a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. I used the same red and blue fabric that I used for the hat, and this will also be color blocked just like the hat, where one side will be red, the other side will be blue, and the opposites on the back side. So I cut one piece out of each fabric. And the closure for the bodysuit will be a zipper, where one side will be red and the other side will be blue. And to make the yellow cuffs for the arms and the legs, and also the wrist cuffs and the top of the boot covers and the collar, I will be using the same yellow gold material that I used on the hat. And the cuffs for all this will be just simple rectangles to the size I need. The collar will be a Peter Pan collar, and actually I am using the same pattern I used for my Ragatha costume. And if you want to see that video, I will leave a link down below. The first thing I did was sew up the center front seam. Then I will go ahead and sew the shoulder seams and the side seams together. And like I said in other videos, I do own a serger, so I will be serging all the raw edges. And then I will go ahead and give it all a good press. And I do make it a lapped zipper. I think that's the term that's used. I'm not really good at it, but I will leave a link down below for a better video on it if you want to know. And since this is a separating zipper and it's too long, I go ahead and sew it down to the length I need it, and I will put a new stopper on it. And once the zipper is installed, I go ahead and sew up that last bit, which is about 8 to 10 inches. And to create that new stopper, I just take some thread and zigzag it over the teeth of the zipper. And the final thing on this main part is to sew the crotch seam together. To create the sleeve, from the reference image it looks like it's just a balloon basically over her arms. So actually I used some saran wrap and masking tape, put it over one of my daughter's balls, and then drew out my pattern, and this is the pattern I got from it. Each sleeve is supposed to be about 6 panels, but at the time of making this I did not realize that I cut where the armhole goes. I cut that in 2 pieces, so actually my sleeves are 7 panels instead of 6. And with these sleeves, I did go ahead and line these with interfacing as well, and I sewed them up just like I did the cones on the hat. With the sleeves done, I go ahead and attach them to the armholes of the bodysuit. To create the legs of the bodysuit, I create this egg-shaped pattern out of a piece of paper, and then I will cut 6 panels out of the red and blue fabric. And once I cut those panels out, I go ahead and pin everything together, and then I took my bodysuit pattern piece and I cut the curvature for where it's going to be joined to the bodysuit. Here I kind of showed you on the mock-up what I did. These shorts kind of confused me, so this is what I came up with. and I do use fusible interfacing on these as well. And like I said earlier, I do use my Peter Pan collar I made for Ragatha for this costume as well. To make the hip pads for this costume, I actually took a page out of Sarah Spaceman's video on her Pomni, whereas I cut my strips of fabric at a 45-degree angle, filled them with quilt batting, and then sewed them up. Once I got my hip pads sewn, and I do angle at the tips so they're more of a point, I go ahead and find the middle of them, and then I will attach them to the leg holes. Once all the panels for the shorts are sewn together, I go ahead and attach them to the leg holes. Now it's time for the Peter Pan collar. I did cut 4 pieces out and lined it with some interfacing, and I will sew it around the outside of the collar, clip my edges, and then I will go ahead and attach it to the neckline of the bodysuit. And to finish the raw edge of the collar, I did use some bias tape. The cuffs for the leg and armholes are just regular rectangles. I made them just like I made the band around the hat, and they are stuffed with batting, and then I will sew those onto the arms and legs. The shoe covers are just like I made my other shoe covers, with the pattern being made from plastic wrap and masking tape. And one shoe will be red and the other shoe will be blue with a gold band on top. And for the soles of the shoe, I actually used a black knit material so it had some stretch. And then I also glued a shoe grippy thing to the bottom of it. And since my daughter has little hands and I hate making gloves for her little bitty hands, I actually took another page out of Sarah Spaceman's book and made wrist cuffs, similar to what I did with her Pennywise costume, but it's just a gold band with a ruffle. And with that, the costume is finally done. This wasn't a really hard costume to make, it was just more trying to figure out what side needs to be blue, what side needs to be red, and making sure everything lines up properly. But in the end, my daughter is the one who liked it and thinks it was the coolest costume ever, and that's what I care about. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and comment down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!